Hey guys, how's it going? Reed here. I'm gonna give it a few minutes to let at least one person come on in. Let me get some tea. Hold on one second. What's going on, guys? I'm gonna get some tea. Yeah, we're gonna have a very interesting discussion today. Yeah, we're gonna talk about destiny swapping, right? So, my podcast is about narcissism as a network. I'm trying to help you understand is that when that idiot and when that petulant, awful, disgusting, perverted narc is in front of you, you're not dealing with a person, right? You're dealing with a node on a network. And that person was unalived by that network. And they serve a very important function for that network. All narcissists forms a very important function for the network they work in. I think you can track the network all the way back to what Jesus Christ was saying is and when he said, don't give your pearls to pigs so they'll consume it and turn on you, something like that. They turn on your pig. I think he was talking about those same people, right? And so when I began to sort of understand narcissism as a network, I began to see all the sick people around me and how all of them are networked together. And let me help you understand how. Let's see here. So I'm just going to pull up it's called a consciousness map. Anything to do. Okay. And I like using this one as an example here. This is a very interesting graph right here. I think it's here. Yep. Okay. Let me just try and explain it like this. The source that's powering all of this, the source that's given everyone life could be represented, let's say, as pure energy. And we don't have the ability to actually adequately describe the source that's given all of us life because our brains don't have the capacity to think on that scale. So we cannot even describe God, right? We can only describe one aspect of God at a time, like God is love, right? Yeah, God is knowledge. Yeah, right. God will be there on time, right? But our brains are too insignificant to actually even conceive of what God is. And so we can't even describe what God is. So let me just see the source that's given us all light. Let's see if I could display one attribute as energy. Okay, so let's say if the source that's given us life, if I had to give it one attribute, I would say pure energy. Just nothing but pure infinite energy that has always existed and will always exist. And I think that's what it is, right? So let's say that's the source that's giving you life. That's the energy. And so if that's the source that's given us life, and I think that's our reflection, that's what we need to aim for, to be like that source, that pure energy, right? So think of that concept when you look at this consciousness map, right? Because your consciousness basically decide at what frequency or energy frequency you're on, right? And here's the reason why. As a neuropsychiatrist, I deal with brains all the time. Here's the reason why. When we look at the human brain, the regions are not alike. They're not alike. Look, this frontal lobe here. Let me show you how this works. Let me give you this as a first example. Okay, so let's see. In this example, we have the brain separated in three parts: the cerebrum, the cerebellum, and the brain stems. Now, these tissues are innervated by different types of nerve fibers. And so the neurotransmitters that run all the networks are different. And because the neurotransmitters themselves that run this part of the brain and the networking in this part of the brain, the nerve bundles in this part of the brain, completely different, significantly different than this region, and therefore in that region. And so let's take it down even further. Okay, let's look at this cerebrum now. There's parts of the cerebrum, right? And different parts do different things. And these are hardcore coded differences in the brain. And what happens, they have different functions. And the dysfunction, and when they are active, they set the predominant frequency, right? So if your temporal lobe here, this is where anger, your big amygdala is located. When this is hyperactive on a brainwave machine, you're going to see a different frequency of waves on it, right? And then still on an EEG machine, I didn't think about an EEG machine. EEG. Yeah, EEG is based upon different. This is an EEG here, and it's to check for seizures and things like that. And the way it measures the different areas is basically the frequencies at which the nerve rates fires, the frequency, the type of neurotransmitters, and the sort of the preponderance of certain type of neurotransmitters at different locations will make the different parts specialize in different things. And so their energy signature are going to be completely different. And we can pick up these differences on EEG machines, and we sort of can appreciate the frequencies and things like that. And when things don't match up, that's when we know it's a problem. So here in this map, again, let's say the source that's given us life is nothing but pure energy. And we go all the way down here to the bottom where you get the densest areas of reality. That's like a diamond. Nothing is denser than a diamond, I think, right? And your consciousness exists along this spectrum here. And the spectrum is basically depends upon what parts of your brain are active or not. If this part of your brain, like this temporal lobe, this is where your amygdala is at. This is where a lot of anger is at. This frontal lobe here is where a lot of the inspiration is at, right? This is where all the frontal lobe is where all the planning is at. This is where all the organizing is at. This is where the sequencing, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, not 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Multitasking. This is the seat of your executive functioning. This is how you become a CEO. This is how you navigate the world, right? Here on this frontal lobe here. Now, patients with attention deficit disorder have a hypoactive frontal lobe, and therefore we have to give him a stimulant to activate the frontal lobe here. Not the whole body. The stimulant activates the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe becomes more active, and then the person has more executive functioning, so they begin to have more control over themselves with their frontal lobe. So you're right. The different parts of the brain they are actually operate at different frequencies, and we can pick those frequencies up on the different EEG maps here. And so this is my sort of like evidence or to you that I believe there's some validity to this consciousness map. And I think this is here. I think you have to keep your consciousness as high as possible. Now, look here. Look, enlightenment. So look, at the highest level of, I guess this is the ego map. Is enlightenment. That's where you learn. That's where you have creativity. That's where you have drive. That's where you have interest. That's where you have motivation. Those are higher frequency as opposed to things like I'm ashamed because I unalive somebody. I'm ashamed because I'm hiding from someone. I just did something I shouldn't have done. Right? That's down here. Right? And so your goal is to always stay as high as possible. Right? Now, let me just tell you this. Remember what Jesus said. Um, remember, Jesus' teaching is that this is the bottom. Okay. Look, it has an energetic law going here. Look, so I guess this is a frequency, energetic laws here, right? Predominant state, look, humiliation, blame, despair, regret. You see his view of life point, miserable, evil, hopeless, tragic. Enlightenment is what? Man, it is as it is. look, you go through all of this stuff and you get to, man, it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Ain't no point even getting involved. Ain't even look at it, just move on, man. Right? Look at here. This is the God view, okay, is self. Yeah, look at this. This is very useful. Yeah. See, that's the point I was trying to make here. I was trying to get to the point that, when you want to stay as high as you can, the higher frequency means you want only positive things coming into your mind, not the negative stuff. Right. And here's the reason why. Look, process pure consciousness, right? Here's the reason why this is so important. Only the people at the top can create. And the people stuck in the bottom, this compartment here, it dismantles everything. It dismantles everything. And so remember what Jesus is saying is that you have to forgive them for they know not what they do. And the reason why Jesus said you can't even hate them back, you got to forgive whatever they did to you. Why? Because the source that's creating all of this, he has a planet full of very primitive animals. And this appears to be in his early stages of development. And while these human animals are in his early stages of development, they're going to do a lot of things because they're in their early stages of primitivity. It doesn't necessarily mean that's bad, but it's his early stages. But I think what this source that's giving everyone life is doing is that this experiment is going to keep going on. To one point, enough conscious people up here will soon be able to take over. I think that at that point, you're going to have what? The war of God? So what happens to these people here? Right? These are the only people who can create. And these people, they destroy everything. Right? Now, remember, Jesus also said that this is a state of humanity. And you can't eliminate this from the equation. So these people will always be around. They're a necessary part of the human experience, and you would not be here if it wasn't for them, because you had to pass through the same primitive gateway as the people still stuck at the bottom. Right? And that's why they say, even if you elevate yourself in society and your money and your riches and everything, you really don't have anything at all. Because, man, you still down there at the bottom, bro. Look at Trump and look at all of this. Have you seen him actually build or create anything? Right? He just went ahead and kidnapped the president. Man, you know how much disruption is going to come after that? You know how much it's going to cost us? Everything? All right. So one of the reasons why Jesus said, turn the other cheek, that's the code word or sutra for no contact. And absolutely don't even talk about them, don't even think about them, nothing, just completely, they don't exist. He said that's the only way to deal with this. These people down here, Jesus referred to as pigs. I'm not what you calling, but he said, don't give your pigs to pearls. You'll give your pearls to pigs. because they'll trample on you. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can find that. Pigs. Yep. Okay. Jesus commented and found in the gospel. All right. He says, "Do not throw your pearls to pigs." Because, okay. And then what happens? The verse is part of the Sermon on the Mount and offers guidance on how to interact with potentially unreceptive or hostile people, narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths. Pearls. This is represented as the precious wisdom, the truth of the message of God. The pigs, the individuals who are hostile, proud, cynical, unwilling to appreciate what is offered. Now, let me just tell you this in your reality, the reality check. This modern day society isn't better than when Jesus was around, and it's not better even 3,000 years before. We've lost a lot of intellectual capacity during this technical revolution that we're going through, that we're ending up here with AI. But here's the difference between you and Jesus. Jesus told the truth. He called them pigs. You call them mom. You call them dad. You call them your husband. You call them your wife. You call them your son. You call them your daughter. You call them your brother, sister. But these are pigs. You are in a delusional world, not Jesus. The reality is that these people are pigs, and they can't. And then he said, "What? They're going to turn on you or something like that." Okay, look, and then do not give to dogs. You call her mom, you should call her dog. You call him dad, you should call him dog. If your child, if someone alienated your child from you, if your child should disrespectful, you dog. You dog. You dog. You're a dog. And I didn't say that. That's just Jesus said that. That's not me. I'm following the man. Jesus said that. You're a dog. And there are some things about dogs that are just, dogs don't have scruples. They don't, they have morals, but there's some things that you don't want to be called a dog, and this is coming from Jesus. And when the last time you straight up call somebody a dog in their face? You're a dog, right? Not my dog. You're not my dog. You're a dog, And I don't think you can say it in a derogatory way, because you'll be enlightening that person. You'll be actually telling them the message that Jesus wanted them to hear. If Jesus was there, he would probably tell himself. And if Jesus was there, he certainly wouldn't behave the way you behave. He wouldn't listen to those people. He would leave. They were leaving back in biblical times where you had to walk to the next city. You indoors. You comfortable. So these are pigs, and they live down here at the bottom. They occupy the bottom. Everybody's born at the bottom. You have to grow and evolve and sort of mature all the way up to the top, right? Remember, Jesus said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven." That is, get your frequency as high as possible. You're going to hit this enlightenment. Your energy going to pop up. You're going to be infallible. It is what it is. And man, what your whole worldview is that you are God? Fuck is this? I mean, this at the and then I just pulled this is interesting. I just pulled this example up, and it's saying the same thing. This one line is saying the same thing I was trying to say. What I was trying to say here is that, okay, ERIKA KIRK destiny swapping. I was going to try to put this here. Okay, look, you're up here, enlightenment, high energetic. That's in that energy. There's a quality to this type of energy, is that it radiates out your body and it dissipates into the bodies of the people around you. And they can feel you when you come into the room with that high energy. And what happens when that energy wave hits that narcissist and they start to feel love in their heart? What is this? Where did this come from? And then they see you, a threat. So what do? Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Hi, I'm your best friend. I'm your new friend. Particularly if you get a new job or a new school or a new community or a new activity, it's the sick narc that picks up your energy and want to get to you first because they want to get to know you, right? And they want to be able to frame you for everybody behind your back. The pigs, right? Pigs, right? And look at this. Here, you are enlightenment. Look at that energy. Comes out your chest, dissipates through the room, hits that narc. That narc starts to feel love in their heart. And then they look, fuck is this? Who is that? And then they're going to have to go be your friend because they know they're in danger because after everyone else you pass feel that love, they're going to go towards you. And when they go towards you, they're leaving the narcissist. The narcissists have to be the center of attention. So the narcissists always have to attack you. They always have to triangulate you and attack you because the narcissist must be the head of that community because they have to manipulate everybody and move and break the connections and the relationships between everybody. And basically, the only thing they're doing is simply dismantling a community, whether or not it's a family, whether or not you work with these sick people, or whether or not you live in a community with them. They're everywhere, like Jesus said. So here, look, infallible. That's why they hate that. They hate that competency. They hate competency. That's why, listen, the name of the game now is not you working your hardest to get ahead. No, they are all in it together. They share their positions, multiple positions. They are, none of them are qualified. None of them are qualified. They're just hooking each other's up. And you, with your energy and your empathy, you do everything right. You go to school, you work hard, you put in all the hours. They give you the grunt work. You put in all the hours and you make it nowhere. Whereas these pigs, they get hooked up and they go up the ladder before you do. So again, your predominant state is infallible. Look, view of life. It is what it is. Indifference. If you want to heal, you have to detach and become indifference. This story that's going on around you is created by the source that's creating all this. And there's a lot of components to it. There's a hell of a lot of components. Everything is running in sync and everything's running perfectly. Why do you want to get in there, stick your hand in this machine and get it cut off? You're not going to change anything. The only thing you're going to do is hurt yourself. And then when you get old, you're going to be broken up in the bed, and then you're going to give up. Then you're going to start looking like all the old women, all the old people who were broken up by life. They just look now. They don't even get involved. They just look. They don't even tell you, hey, I wouldn't do that. They just look. They don't get involved. Listen, it is what it is. Indifference. No matter where this goes, I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to have to move on with the conditions that the source has given me. Right? Then your God view is you are God. You are God, right? Right? You are God. And let me just tell you something. If you remove your ignorance, you will be God. He will manifest himself right now. You remove your ignorance. Then God will appear. I guarantee you. You remove your you remove your ignorance, you don't hurt anymore, right? You remove your ignorance, you don't feel pain anymore. Most importantly, you remove your ignorance, you get the opportunity to escape the ego. You escape the ego, you're the GOAT. You'll be just like that there with Jesus, all the way up here, above the map. In what's called the Christ consciousness. Jesus Christ was the man who was the greatest humans who have lived. He understood this stuff so well, and he was able to live outside of the ego. And he did that by keeping his thoughts and his frequencies, his expectations, his behavior so high that he never engaged with the world. He only focused on his relationship with God, the source that's given everyone's life, right? Now, that's him up here, and that's where you're at. Now, the narc is down here at the bottom. So, in order for them to get things like peace, enlightenment, they'll just steal it from you, right? We'll go, and that's why this is ERIKA KIRK. Remember, Charlie was the person who never went to college. Charlie was the blue-collared white boy. Charlie was the hard-working, innocent man. Charlie was the simp, right? That's what Charlie was. However, Charlie had a damn good idea. Charlie had damn good timing. Charlie's debating skills were on par. Charlie was beginning a movement. And so what did ERIKA do? You saw what she did. And what did she do? Took over the movie. Destiny swap. She thinks she's down here. He's up there. And this is that narc you with, this is the only reason why they're at you, to get access to that energy right there. They're energy deficient, and they can only destroy. They can only dismantle. Now, let me just tell you this, and there's good reasons. There's good reasons why you cannot make anything at the bottom. Why? This is the lowest level of human existence. So this is the worst state that a human can be in. It's an unenlightened state. It's sort of like a zombie state, because the zombies can't produce anything. You get it? And this is the reason why these energy deficient people will always be in it together behind your back. Why? Because this makes up an entire reality. And they guard the rules in that reality. In this reality, it's survival of the fittest, right? And you have what? Reasoning? The humans that exist in this level of consciousness are no different than the animals. Right? And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go to his YouTube channel here. And I'm going to give a trigger warning first. Okay? I'm going to give a trigger warning. Right? And I'm going to show you what the source, how the source designed all of its animals. It's right here. It's right there. The source design. I'm going to show you the source code. Looking at what the hell's going on here? How are all these things programmed up here? What you doing over there, man? What you doing? How you got these programmed? Right? This world, survival of the fittest. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why? Because these animals, they're only programmed. The source that's given life only programmed them to have action and reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. So all of the fighting is unconscious. The animal is probably not even thinking about it. They're just going through a fight to the death, and everything is just working in sync, and all these things are just going in sync because the machine is taking over now, and the animal probably just unconscious. The animal is probably not even paying attention. Like if you got to whoop somebody real good, if you got to get down to the white meat, you have to stomp them out. You don't remember every punch, right? You don't remember every duck. Most of that's automatic, right? Unconscious. Instinct, action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. And with action, reaction, there's no thought between, and so it has to be survival of the fittest. Action, reaction, survival of the fittest. And let me just show you how it gets down here. Now, I haven't looked at these and stuff like that, so I don't really know too much about it. I know there are lions fighting and everything, but there's something I want you to understand that happens at the bottom. At the bottom here, there's no such thing as good or bad. It is what it is, right? These lions that are fighting is instinct. When they rip another lion apart, there's nothing wrong with that. That's how this system was designed. they have the teeth to pull the flesh away. And while they're pulling the flesh away, the animal is being ripped apart. And guess what? They're probably doing this to dad. They can be doing this to dad. So dad, the king, the lion, he had to fight for his territory. He made it with his pride or what, and had children. He raised the children. What? And then the children turn on him and torture him to death. And then what do? Kill their other siblings and then what? Mate with mom? What the hell is this? What? Yeah, man, it's a jungle, man. Listen, this is nature. This is reality. They didn't do anything wrong. That's how the system works. When mom watches the son kill dad and then mates with dad and kill her children and then mates with dad and have more of them, she didn't do anything wrong. She didn't even look back. Let's see how brutal this is, but there's nothing wrong with it. And when you translate that to the same idiots here at the bottom, the shooting, the stabbing, the burning, all that stuff, man, ain't nothing wrong with that. They didn't, like I said, with ERIKA didn't do anything wrong. She seems like she organized a public execution of her husband, and she didn't really do anything wrong. Why? Because they're down there. He had to leave the Enlightenment, and every night he had to go down there in the gutter. Charlie had to go down there in the gutter, and that's where he lost his life, y'all. The man lost his life. And let me just tell you this. When he was executed there and all his team turned his back on him, he's laying down there dead. They just walked off on him, man. They just walked off some. They know it's like this, hey, this just, hey, look at here. Exceptional catch. But then he gonna rip the bird apart though. He gonna have to rip it wing by wing. Let me see.
Territorial battles between male lions often end in tragedy for the loser. The wiser males form coalitions with one or two brothers, combining their strength to overthrow a lone rival and take control of his territory. Territorial battles between male lions often
when a male lion's territory is challenged by an outsider, a fierce and brutal battle unfolds to determine the dominant lion that will lead the pride and secure.
These are beautiful animals too. Yeah, look. Oh yeah. Giving chase. I got to issue a trigger warning here because they're gonna have to rip a man apart. And then the most important thing you need to understand here is they didn't do anything wrong. The system was designed that way. And in fact, if this didn't work like this, then you won't see the very beautiful kittens you have, the white kittens and the beautiful cats we have now. That they are here as a result of this process of survival of the fittest that happens down there. Okay, so here. Now, this is the territory that all narcs have to deal with. That's why they always keep their lives private, but yours not, but they remove your privacy. That's the first part of the game. If you, as an adult, you need to have privacy insured, guaranteed. You need to have the ability at any time to go somewhere and nobody be able to get in touch with you. If you do not have the capacity to go somewhere and close your door and lock your door and nobody can disturb you, well, you're still in adolescence. You're not in adulthood. But every narc has that. Why? Because that's exactly how their network is designed. That's why the narc that tortured and unalive, the narc that's torturing you, that narc never comes around you. They're always hidden somewhere. And you would never be in their sanctuary where they have their most delicate things. You will never be in there, but they are in yours through this person that you're in a relationship with. They are in your business. Why? Because you're not in the relationship with the person you're in front of. You're in a relationship with the person that unalived them. Why? Because this is just the puppet or the mouthpiece that this the higher narc uses to vicariously live through that person, have a relationship with you. And these things are cold, man. So they have to attack you. So that's why if you have empathy, you are always under attack, right? Now, so you got me here. Also, I think this consciousness map is also yin and yang. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. This symbol has been around since the beginning of time, human history. And because it's been around, because every generation decided to pass this symbol down to the next generation by using it frequently, it has object permanence, and therefore it has some significance to it because it describes something about our environment that we really need to know, right? And so this is, you say, yin and yang, right? And so it's these two forces that sort of swirl together. If this is the building phase, then this is the deconstruction phase. If this is hot, then this has to be cold. And so what these two phases represent is the duality. This is the same duality that I was talking about that's present in all the particles. So a electron is energy and matter at the same time. And so I think that this is, and I'll go through that again. I did it on my other podcast, but then I muted the microphone. I didn't read that section. I went to make some coffee, muted the microphone, but I didn't get that recorded. So I'm going to record that section over. But this is yin and yang. So if this is, so let's see, how can I describe this? Okay. So let's say this is positive and this is negative. Let's say this is building, then this has to be destroying, because it has to be a cycle. So no matter what you build, you're going to have to destroy, because everything's going to have to be back at zero. So this also describes duality, which is the main thing that you're dealing with. Duality is you go in somebody's delusion and you put that $100,000 for a house, you guarantee to lose $100,000 because she don't really love you, man. You're in an exploitation ship. You're not in a marriage, man. She just wanted the money, bro. Right? Ooh, hold on, I got somebody at my door. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so this is, okay, so if this is building, then this is destroying, duality, right? Okay, so I think the separation is right here. I think this is the separation line. So I think this is yin. This is the only place you can build. But I think once you get to here, reason and integrity, then I think here, reason and intelligence, I think you have some challenges in this region. But I think in here, everything is simply dismantled. I mean, if you are in a relationship with these people, your relationships will be dismantled, your health will be dismantled, Your finances will be dismantled. Your reputation will be dismantled. Your workforce will be dismantled. Everything will be dismantled. It's almost like an endless pit here, right? In the endless pit, it feels like an endless pit because the money drain, if you that foolish, the money drain is actually programmed from the environment. you you lose your money because the code on the back of the environment says, okay, everybody at this point is going to have to lose everything. So that's why you never prosper with narcissists, right? Because they're at the bottom and they only fake like they're on top, right? And then look, anytime let me show you the destiny swapping. Anytime you see a narcissist feeling peace, that's because they swap destinies with you because you down here at the bottom, right? So notice when you cross when you reinforce a boundary with a narc, when they cross that boundary, say, hey bro, you need to get back on the other side of that boundary and you need to do it quick. When you cross that boundary, they get upset. When you reinforce your boundaries, they get upset. No, they don't like it. They all, just going crazy and things like that. But if they lied on you and they got you upset, and now I didn't do that. The lie didn't do that. They lying on me. I didn't do that. Once you all upset and like that, and once you downhill, once you good, once they lie on you, steal from you, give you a disease, steal your money, get you fired, lie on you, tell your business, and once they do all that and you get upset, you down here, and then all of a sudden they peaceful as a motherfucker, right? They sitting back all peaceful and quiet. Anytime you see a narcissist at peace, there's something's going on. They're destiny swapping with somebody. You down there at the bottom, right? And then here's another thing. Let me give you another idea about destiny swapping and how dangerous this is. Let's say you have $10. Well, if you have $10 of your money, they getting $7 out of the 10. They got things arranged in the back. I got 50 cents coming out of here. I got 10 cents coming out of here. I got 10 cents here and 10 cents there and 15 cents here and 20% there. You see, they got all this on purpose. So out of your $10, they get $7 out of the 10, right? They get $7 out of the 10. How much do they actually work for? When they're down here at the bottom, they work for 0 of it. So they're living a life on 7 and you without work, and you living a life on 3 and have to work everything. Destiny swapping, right? They're living your life. If you just drop them, you can have all your resources to yourself, right? Then you can be living like they're living. But then you don't have to do as much of the work or the things like that to do what they're doing. They're going to take your resources and live off the energy you're providing, financially, psychologically, and emotionally. And then they're going to transfer all the debt, the disease, the heartache, the get all this stuff to you, and you're going to live in that sick narcissistic world where they're gaslighting you. You're in a narcissistic storm. Now, let me give you some a few more examples. A few of my destiny swapping. Let me see. Puffy, Biggie, Notorious. Okay, let me see it. Let me see. I can't play the music because I don't want to get a strike, but I'm gonna try and find the video. So right after, see a destiny. Let me take you through the matrix first. Okay, I'm gonna try. This is a kind of complicated concept, and I'm trying to figure out how to explain it. Okay. Okay. So let me show you this. Okay, I'm trying to give you an idea of what destiny swapping is. Okay, and that is that when the narcissist sees all the things that you have that they want, and they basically unalive you and take it, right? However, this is a fool's errand. Now, this lady is an example of destiny swapping that happened to her. And she says something that's very interesting that I want to point out. And I think this is the same problem ERIKA KIRK is going to have. ERIKA KIRK is going to have the same problem Diddy had, right? Okay, so in this, this lady here, she apparently is the real creator of the Matrix movies. However, she reported that her ideas were stolen from her, and then the people who stole it from her allegedly made the movie The Matrix. So they stole her screenplay, liked it so much, and then made the movie, right? And so this was, they felt that this franchise was going to be The Matrix. The Matrix, just a beautiful movie, right? And they're talking about the same thing I'm talking about. The Matrix and the movie is talking about the exact same thing I'm talking about. Neo is basically Jesus Christ, right? The brother, he's John the Baptist, and Neo's girlfriend, his wife, is Mary. And so there's the Christ-like figures in Neo. So back to this. Now, they stole her ideas and then published Neo. Now, this is what she published, The Matrix. Now, this is what she said that was so profound. She said that I'm the creator of the Matrix. And so the Matrix comes out of me, right? When you knock me off of my project and then you get on the project, when you knock me off the project dies. And when you get on the project, you create your stuff, but you're not continuing the Matrix, right? So this is the lady that says this. Okay, so let me just show you here. And so let me just show you here. And so here's the movie, The Matrix. Okay, here's the movie, The Matrix. Here's the famous scene right here. Yeah. And The Matrix is great because they're talking about the ego on here.
Slopes with a flimsy trekking pole. This
is the construct. It's our loading program. We can load anything from clothing to equipment.
So he's describing the ego, right? The ego is an index that allows you to sort all this stuff. This is up, this is down, this is left, this is right, this is black, this is white. The ego is the index. That's what he's describing it.
Weapons, training simulations, anything we need.
This isn't real.
What is real?
Now, The Matrix is a very important movie. Fishbone represents John the Baptist here, and Neo represents Jesus Christ, but this is Jesus before his baptism. So this is Jesus before he understood his divinity, right? This is Jesus who was able to obtain this high level of consciousness without even understanding what was going on around him, right? Very amazing, very amazing.
Do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
See, he's saying the same thing I'm telling you. I'm saying that this is the ego. This right here is the ego, right? This is the ego, right? And these are different levels of defense mechanisms. I'm going to take you through. And this is the lowest level of the primitive defense mechanisms, the same defense mechanisms those lions use. It's the same defense mechanisms, the same animals and the same people. That's why they all behave the same, right? And so he's teaching him, okay. Okay, so this is the movie Matrix. Okay, now this was created by the lady I just described. Now, when the people took her product, well, they already took her product and made this, but when she went to court and now they couldn't continue it, they had to do a 3. So who was going to write the part 3? She wrote part 1 and part 2. Who was going to write part 3? Now, when they wrote part 3, it turned into John Wick. So here, the Matrix, when the Matrix movie started off, when it started off with the lady who was the original author.
Think you know John Wick? Think again. You missed the smartest details hidden in plain.
They even use the same characters. So what I'm trying to say, narcissists are very concrete people because somehow in their grandiosity, they believe that they can continue your work as if they were you and then pass it off and get the same rewards or victory, right? And that's delusional. It's not like if I knocked Michael Jordan off and took his spot on the Bulls, I still won't be able to play like him. So the John Wick films are significantly different from in terms of their quality, their box office. I don't think anybody knows John Wick. I mean, maybe the few people know John Wick. It's a pretty good but it's not on the same level of the Matrix, right? Now, let me show you here, and that's one example of destiny swapping, but it didn't go wrong because the people who swapped the destiny couldn't make the product that the lady could, right? And that's one of the problems with destiny swapping. Now, just look at ERIKA KIRK, right? Ooh, let me see. Let me go to the funeral video. Oh, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. The man's body, the man, and then did she execute the man and then put his body on display in the funeral home? And just let's listen to what's happening here.
Love you. Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I love you so much. I love you. God bless you.
And then she had to put the flag there too. I mean, she's really doing a lot. I mean, showing a man's body, I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable like that. So look, this isn't destiny swapping to you, and doesn't it sound like satanic and demonic and things like that? Particularly listen to the listen to that.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Now, she was his wife, right? whatever happened with his execution or whatever, it gives her a chance to swap her destiny with his, right? And I think what was happening here is that they agreed upon the execution so they can take his organization and push it to elect J.D. Vance as the next president of the United States. And so she was going to enter the national spotlight. Right? And let me see, ERIKA KIRK. Here we are now. Look, like an angel. The lady looks like an angel.
Please give a warm welcome to Mrs. ERIKA KIRK.
Look. Y'all notice this? Look, CEO and chair, right? CEO and chair. She took over right there. She took over right there. And chair. It's going to be hard for her not to control. And I think she probably got control of the organization through inheritance, right? So he owned the shares in the non-for-profit corporation, whatever, and they go to her afterwards. And so now now it's her organization, definitely swapped. And when she appears on the scene, you know, she appears in all her fanfare and her glory. Look at her. It's amazing. And I hate all this fire. Look at she walking between, I don't know. You know, you walking between, you sandwich between fire like that. I don't know. And I'm not sure if all that hair is real. Now, look, all white. She's standing like an angel. Look at her. All white. And then she's entertained. She's maturing the applause. It's all about her. It's all about her. This is her line. This is her time to shine. The strong CEO widow. She's a strong woman, boy. And then look, she has the bulletproof shields up. Of course, narcs always, you know, I remember the sick narcs I went to with high school, which is teenagers and stuff like that. And I learned a lot of bad things they were doing back then. And I started to understand that they're actually hiding from the people that they harmed in their teenage years. Even at this age, see the narcs never forget who they trampled upon. And they're always suspicious and guarded about those things. So they're always paranoid and things like that. So the fact that she's going to have bulletproof glass, of course she is. Look, and they got really good bulletproof glass too. This is really too much. It's too much. Let's see here. Okay. And then also, also I wanted to, it was this, I think it says more money and more problems. Okay. I'm going to put this on. And so now, Puffy isn't a good rapper. He's a good rapper. And then the music he made, none of it was original. It was all remaking samples of music that people already loved. So you listen to the things that Puffy Combs produced, and they were basic remakes, right? Nothing original, right? And so Now, then he meets Biggie and sees that Biggie has this trajectory that's going on and stuff, and so he sets it up so he's do a couple of shady things, and then Biggie gets killed. But then he's the one that releases Biggie's album, and he's rapping the album as if it's his. And so this song here, the Notorious B.I.G., this is his video, but Puff made it about him. Puff moved from a busted rapper who couldn't rap to now taking on swapping destinies with Biggie. Biggie's in the grave, and Puffy is lip syncing to Biggie's hit, right? And then after that, then Puff Daddy releases his album. But the whole momentum is because Biggie was executed, same thing the way Charlie was, and then the man took over his dream, his vision. And then look how Diddy presents. He presents in the same way similar to Cassie when they get off of these things. You know, now this is Biggie's video, not Puff's. But in this, the whole narrative is about Puff. So again, Puff is the producer, right? I mean, he did have a verse on this and everything, but this is Biggie Smalls' video. Biggie Smalls should be the main character in Biggie Smalls' video, not Puffy, the main character in the deceased Biggie Smalls video. You got me? And then same character, similar track. And then look at this. So the whole narrative is about him and focused on him, right? And then here we go again with the same glorified presentation. There's the lights, there's the sparkly, there's the white again and everything. There we are again. You got me? So him, there's the white, there's same thing. So these narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, when they destiny stop, when they finally take over your destiny, I mean, they come out like, I finally arrived. Now it's time for me to show everybody I arrived. So they present themselves like that. These people are sick. And then I think that's all I have for now. I think going to an hour, I think that's probably as far as I wanted to go now. So let me see. I think I have a few questions here. Let me turn a little bit of music on. I hope this is interesting to you guys. It's certainly interesting to me. Okay, let me see here. I got a few questions here. Max, how's it going, man? Good to see you back, Doc. Where you been, Max? Look at all these videos I've been making, man. Okay, great. Claudia, okay, I watch you for a while and you talk about God, but your profile picture comes against it. Hey. What's my profile pic? I don't pay too much focus. What profile pic? Is it a YouTube profile pic? Let me see. Yeah, so I do believe in God. I just don't believe in Christianity. I do believe in Jesus, but I just don't believe in Christianity. I think if the Christians should stop them babies from getting killed, and the Christians should stop these pedophiles from running around raping 14-year-old girls. That's what the Christians should be doing. Okay. Hey, Diane. My dad, complete mark, destiny swapped with my mom and he killed her brain and she was a prisoner in her soul. So sad. Oh my God. I am so sorry that happened to your mom. And it's our society. I'm so glad that we're entering the age of AI because I'm going to be releasing my AI soon. It's a neuropsychiatrist and you're going to be able to get everything I can do. You can just talk to this and I'm gonna get away for free. And this is very valuable stuff because Just like she said with her mom, and what her husband did to her, the guy did to her mom. There's no way to it's hard to hold these people accountable, right? And so these are crimes that these are criminals creating crimes in the area of emotional, psychological abuse and torture, and control by trauma. All of them are trying to obtain one thing, that is control, and they obtain control through trauma. So it's called trauma-based mind control. So these sick narcissists, sociopath, when they're damaging you, they're trying to keep damaging you and just keep damaging things. And that cumulative damage you'll eventually capitulate and start agreeing with them and working with them. So this is called trauma-based mind control. And this is how narcs control you, by traumatizing you. Right? So I am sorry to hear about that, Diane. And you have to get I'm going to start a clinic, an online clinic, probably at 7 in the evening or something like that. So that online groups, so we can just talk about things. I moved 1,900 miles away so that God could deliver me from them. Congratulations. See, you messed up, Diane. You should have moved 1,901 miles away. You ain't far enough. You got to get an extra mile away, girl. Pick up, move again. Pick up, move across the street if it's that extra mile, right? But you ain't good. Yeah. So no contact is the only thing that works. It's potent for them. It's their kryptonite, right? Because they have to be in your reality in order to be able to target you. They have to be able to look at the things and find out what you're attached to. And the things you're attached to the most, that's what they go after, right? So if they don't see you, then they don't see what you're attached to, and they don't have the ammunition to come after you. And that's what keeps you safe. No contact is the only thing that works. Yeah. They should teach this in the church. This is classic and clear. The church needs to go through a revolution, because I think that it's going to find that it's secondary to the other religions. I don't think you can let Zionism compartmentalize Christianity. The hell is this? What is this? The hell is this? Zionism is relatively new, right? Christianity been around for a while. So Zionism, so the Christians are going to shut up while they murder all these children and women, and then the Christian men are going to shut up while these pedophile men go around raping 14-year-old kids and 14-year-old girls, and the Christian men shut up. What the hell is this? Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, that's the thing. You know, everyone's seated, right? Everyone's sitting down at the table. You know, but when hard times comes, the ones with courage are the only ones who stand, and all the cowards remain sitting. So this issue with rich pedophile men targeting 14-year-old girls, that's a male issue. That's not a women issue. Men need to deal with that. You can't ask women to deal with powerful male pedophiles who are abusing 14-year-old girls. You have to have men deal with that. That is a no-no. That is a no-no. So I cannot accept any Christianity if the men are going to allow that. I mean, you're going to allow some rich man to rape your daughter, your 14-year-old daughter, you're just going to sit down? I mean, is that where the Christian men are doing now? I don't know. You know, the church is a very supportive institution for a lot of people. It offers a tremendous amount of support for people in the communities, you know, but some churches may not be equipped to deal with some things on this level. This is really deep stuff. You know, you're gonna need some people who are hopefully we'll see the core figures out of Christianity rise up to the top and say, hey, saints, no more. We're going to stop saints. I mean, where are all the heroic Christian preachers or organizations? Where are they at? You know, where are they at? I think we'll see it now. They may be owned by the same institutions. So here they should teach us in church. Yeah, Clip, I agree with you. Okay, here, yeah, she is a she stack. What is a she stack? I've never heard of that. Coffin seat. Yeah, it is disturbing, isn't it? So Diane got all the message. Thanks, Diane. Thanks, Diane. I was at the memorial. I had to process it. Oh man, I hope you took pictures of that. I hope you took pictures of that. You have to process it days after. I couldn't imagine the gas lighting in that environment. I probably would have left with a clouded sensorium and confused. Yeah, the hair is fake. Yeah. Okay, wokophobe. Okay, imagine the opposite. A woman is murdered and the husband. Don't say that. Don't say that. Big Sky, Mike Tanto. What's up, Lisa? How you doing? Big Sky. I should patent the. You should patent the narcissism network. Oh. You know what? I think I'll do that. Thank you so much, Lisa. I think I'll do that. It took me 57 years and your channel before I figure my whole family is narcissistic. I'm the scapegoat, the black sheep. I love how you present those sickos. Hey, Lisa, you know, that's the cruelest thing about this. All the time you were trying to figure this out, they were looking at you knowing what was going on in the first place. And then they can see the inquisitive looks on your face. And they will follow the inquisitive looks on your face to see if you were still unconscious, if you were still unaware of what they were doing to you. I mean, that's how much they were handling you, right? In 57 years, and I think it does take around 40 years. When it comes for your family, I think it takes around 40 years, 40, 45 years to sort of understand it. And then most importantly, they have all the resources on their side because you go to a psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, or something like that, and they're not going to help you. They're going to jump on the other people's side. Yeah. I was born in a network. These are dangerous, evil people. You right. Stockholm syndrome. Yep, you're right. You're right. Trauma bonding. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I call it soul murder. Yep. You got it, Diane. I say it's unaliving. Right? And he hates me all day, every day. Yeah, see, Diane. See, you see where he's at down here at the bottom, right? Look, despising. Look. You see the elimination right there. All right, look, the elimination. Miserable. Yeah. No wonder they all one second here. So look here, he's down here at the bottom. Here, look, despising here. You know, despising, vindictive. Look, evil, right? Hopeless. You know, he's stuck down here. He's trapped down here. You're up here. The only thing to do is detach and get away. And thank God that you were able to get away. Thank God. Yeah, see, above here, this Christ consciousness is above here. And this is the only place the Satan is not. This is the only place the devil is not. Right? So I think the devil can hit you up anywhere along this pipeline, particularly down here and everything. But up here, he's not up here. Right? So if you want to end your suffering, then you have to eliminate your ignorance and you have to get your frequency as high as possible. Watching the breakdown and her being diagnosed Alzheimer's, and she was still in tune with his disgusting voice. Yep. Isn't that something? Yeah. See, let me just tell you here, there's two parts to your ego. You have your internal part of your ego, then you have your external part of your ego, right? So what these people do, they damage your internal sense of self. So they remove your internal ego. So you only have your external part of your ego. Two pieces, internal, external. They damage this by you're nothing. You're never going to be damaged. All those, they keep working on this. Now, when this is gone, then they have your external ego, which is them. And removing your internal sense of self with your external ego, that's the handle that makes them handle you. Because whatever they recommend to you in this state where your internal sense of self is damaged, you have no choice but to agree, because they're the ones that are forming your ego. So whatever idea they come up with, it'll be fine with you, right? Anything that benefits you, you are not going to want to do it because it doesn't have, and they are not going to see. If you don't have a sense of self, and if you did anything for you, it's going to grow your sense of self. So that's why they always discourage anyone, anything, or you doing anything for you. That's why you always have to leave your reality and live in theirs. And if they have to come into your reality, meaning take care of you or think about you or understand you or cooperate with you, they are impetulant and they are stupid and acting like a characterological and stuff like that. And they act stupid. They don't act competent when they have to give to you. They only act competent when they're receiving the shit that they didn't work for themselves. So I agree with you there. Will and Holly are the She Snacks, the TV show from back in the day. What is Slee Snack? I ain't never heard that word before. Okay, you're very interesting. I'm subscribing. Thank you. So I think that's all I want to say for now. So remember, when you're in front of that narcissist, remember, they were unalive a long time ago, and they have a handler, and that handler is you're in a relationship with a handler, not the person you're in front of. Now, feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And you got to get your destiny back. This next, I'm gonna do another pod. I'm gonna take a little break and do another podcast right after this. And this podcast is going to be about, I think. Is anything real anymore? Like, is there anything around us real anymore, or is everyone's lying to us? And that's a huge problem, because try to find an institution that's really being honest, right? So if you look around your community and if you see if law enforcement isn't working for you, who are they working for? If you look at the hospital you live by, if the hospital is not going to work for you, who's taking care of your health? If you look at the banking system, if the banking system wouldn't give you any loans, then what good is the banking system for you if it's only just take your money, right? Once you get cryptocurrency, then you can just keep your money in your wallet and you won't really need a bank. So it seems to me that there's all these institutions around here, but none of the institutions actually work. And if you look at the institutions, they actually run in hustles. The hospitals are not taking care of people, right? The banks are not lending money, right? You really don't have opportunity at your job, right? The people on the in crowd are the ones who have the opportunity, and they run that business, so they capitalize all of the value for them and their friends. The value doesn't decimate down to where you are. They keep all the resources for themselves. So the next podcast is, are we living in the Truman Show? I mean, is everything around us fucking fake? I think it is. And I think if everything's around us fake, then man, what do we do? And what's going on? So stay tuned, folks. Read Matrix next. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share, guys. And I'll be next 30 minutes, I'll be up again. I'll talk to you later, guys. Take care. Ciao.